Hey guys, you don't know me yet. My name's Shiv and this is my first ever YouTube video. So I'm gonna pretend this is a video call and you've just asked me how I got into law and anthro at the LSE, and I just told you I'm gonna break down my whole personal statement for you because trust me when I say I know there are no resources out there. So these are my tips for personal statements. Number 1, the whole thing should flow, but each paragraph should be so packed with intentional value and intentional words that it could stand by itself. And what I mean by that is I literally worked my personal statement paragraph by paragraph in separate documents and then put it all together at the end. Number 2, law and anthro, your personal statement has to be 50-50 law and anthro, but that doesn't mean 50% content, 50% law content, 50% anthro content separated. It means you highlight or emphasize how you have an equal understanding of both, and you show that through what you write. But I'll show you how I did that. Number 3, this is not something you can rush. This is a really complex personal statement to write, and it doesn't help that there is no help out there. There are no resources on it. So you get ready to draft and redraft because there's a lot that you have to put into such a small word count. Number 4, you take apart the stuff that works. Again, really hard to do, but I'm going to take my personal statement apart for you, and if you can find other people that have done the same thing, then reach out to them, ask them if you can see it, so you can dissect it, so you can see how they've structured it. Number 5, find your why. And as cliche as this sounds, this is probably the most important point, and probably the one that you already know, but you need to know why you're applying for law and anthro, because this will be the running theme through your personal statement. This will be the thing that links everything together. It's the thing that's going to make you stand out from the Right, so this is the introduction, and it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's also the hardest part to write. So you have to start from the bottom up, meaning you write the introduction last, because the introduction is really important in giving the reader your why. For example, for me, I wanted intellectual challenges, which is why I chose this course. I care about social justice and my past experiences and the things that I'm interested in, for example, writing, and the specific type of writing that I do, all link into why I want to do the course. Right, so on to the first paragraph, and please let's ignore the red lines under the words. I promise you, I don't know why they're there, and they're really annoying me. The first paragraph has to make an impact, even more of an impact than your introduction made. So in my case, I wrote about Article 48 of the Indian Constitution, which is obviously super specific. But not only is that the law part, I linked it into the anthropology by talking about the effect that the law had on society and on people. And I know it seems completely random, like where the heck did you get Article 48 of the Indian Constitution from? Research, but also it links into everything else that I'm going to say. This sets the tone for the rest of the statement, because look, I talk about the law, I talk about the effect of the law, and then I talk about how it makes me feel by making by making very sure of myself statements like these can ingrain prejudice into the culture. It's stuff that I've observed by watching the interaction between law and anthropology in society. And just like I promised, paragraph 1 links to paragraph 2. This prejudice can survive immigration, and I have observed it within the communities here. I bring myself into what I have researched and what I have observed. And then I talk about another piece of legal literature. It's called Justice. And then I brought a specific case into it. So I show where my anthropological links to the law, the actual law itself, and the legal literature are contextualized. This case that I brought in, I've analyzed it from the perspective of the legal literature that I've just mentioned, and this is a really important thing that you have to do in your personal statement. Every sentence you say, or every sentence you write, and everything that you mention in that statement must be linked to what you put underneath it. You can't just have a statement that floats around by itself and it isn't rooted in a point that you're trying to make. In this paragraph is the first time I clearly state what I want to do with the education that I'll receive if I do this course, Law and Anthropology, at the LSE. And then I talk about a piece of literature that meant a lot to me personally, which was the book Shame. I talk about cultures, and then I talk about the cohesion of those cultures, which is anthropology. And then I show how this culture interacts with the law and the legal environment in the UK. And then the analytic part of the personal statement kind of ends there, and I talk about my A-levels and how my academic career has led to me being perfect for this course, law and anthropology. I did chemistry, biology, and psychology, which is an interesting mix when you're doing law and anthro, and how I got here is such a long story, but that meant that I had a really unique take on how I can apply my skills. But if you've done less unconventional subjects, it doesn't matter. Still talk about your academic career, still talk about how you are who you are as a student, and also highlight that you know what this course is going to take. So, you know how I said the analytic part was kind of over? After this paragraph, it's over. In this paragraph, I talk about a specific anthropological text from the reading list that you actually have on the website. Go and look at the course information for law and anthropology, and you'll see the kind of stuff that they want you to read. I mentioned this specifically not only because it wasn't on LSE's website, but because I thought that I hadn't made it obvious enough that I wanted to do law and anthropology. But that was before I knew that the personal statement has to be 50-50 in terms of understanding. So I feel like this isn't that necessary. You could talk about any other piece of literature that you want. But I also wanted to use the words ethnographic, which I now know what that means in second year. Obviously, I knew what it meant, but I only knew the definition of it. Now I actually understand it. But after this, I talk about non-academic things that have led to this moment, as in me applying to law and anthro, but this can be literally anything that you've done, anything that you enjoy, as long as you can convey what skills that those things have given you. And for the conclusion, I kept it super short, super sweet. I just said that I have everything I need. Please take me. I love this course, and I do, and it is so, so worth it.